economic challenges to it. As we saw the drop-off in retail sales and revenues, we certainly saw a spike in unemployment figures here in the state. And it seems like on a fairly regular basis, we're hearing more and more that different companies are starting to cut back. I am just down the street, just down Rainier Avenue in Renton, where our office is, Northwest Business Development Association. And we certainly watch what Boeing's doing whenever there are announcements there. On the national side, the banks certainly had their problems. We can see the number of bank failures on a national basis really peaked in 2008. We had 24 banks closed nationally. And we saw a lot of that here, well, most notably in September of 2008, with the closure of Washington Mutual. Who would have ever anticipated that happening? I worked at Washington Mutual for a little over 5 years in getting the commercial lending group up and running. It was a good, profitable division. And so very heart-sickening day for me when I saw the closure of that institution. In just the first quarter of 2009, we have already seen the closure of 20 banks on a national basis. And we're going to see some more. So really over about a 6-month span of time, we've seen some real issues on the banking side, on credit. We've heard throughout the news about first the consumers and home mortgage issues. Then it spread to the business community, where businesses often saw lines of credit or bank facilities that were made available to them either not available, or as businesses would go in seeking new credit, all of a sudden it was a whole lot harder than it had ever been in the past. This is very challenging for our small businesses right now. But I tell you, there's days when I turn on the evening news and I feel like I'm revisiting Henny Penny. And you know, many of us remember that story from our childhood, where Henny Penny had an acorn that fell down, bopped her on the head, and began running around telling Ducky Lucky and all the other characters in the story, you know, the sky's falling, and I don't know. The other thing that I'm finding interesting right now is to take a look at where the interest rates are. Throughout 2008, we saw the Federal Reserve reducing the Fed funds rate. That's the rate that banks use when they borrow between each other to help fund their activities. And the prime rate, which gets charged on loans, is directly tied to the Fed funds rate. Look at how that quickly dropped in 2008 to where it's next to nothing, staying flat for this year as anticipated. I drive through this area, I see building after building that's sitting vacant with for sale signs on them. So we have commercial buildings that are for sale and commercial condos that are for sale, and the market's not moving very well. And as I look at that, I start to see maybe instead of bad news, this is actually a time of some opportunity for the businesses that are in a position to take advantage of this. This may be a good time to be discussing with the seller of that property, who might need that cash flow to repay their bank debts, negotiate on that price on that building a little bit. And how can we do that to locate our businesses within the currently vacant buildings that we have? So the next bit of good news we had was the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. This was the stimulus bill that President Obama signed in February, and trying to identify ways to get money to Main Street to our small business community, that's where employment is for most people. And through the stimulus bill, it was identified to start to funnel that support through the Small Business Administration to get to businesses. Any of us that are involved in SBA loans, we are thrilled with this, because for once SBA gets to be a superhero in this scene. Has anybody in here been involved with a Small Business Administration loan before? Show of hands. Okay, so we've got some new information. The good banker is going to say, you know, if we use this SBA 7A loan program, we're able to do all those things and make those loans available. Through the stimulus bill, there is now a temporary elimination of all loan fees, all the Small Business Administration loans. And these can be sizable. You'll see available. Well, the number one goal is to create jobs. If we have a business that instead of facing rising rent rates for their business, if they're able to stabilize and control their overhead by buying a building and having fixed rates for a 20-year period of time, they're able to settle in the community and hopefully employ people within that community. So job creation is one of the primary goals. Let's take a look at a real example. Beauty Supply Building on Rainier Avenue South. I looked at the commercial real estate website. This is for sale, and the selling price right now is $1.5 million. This is the general structure for a 504 loan. As I mentioned, the business owner is able to get into that space for as little as 10% down. We have a bank that, any bank that they work with, the business owner would work with their bank to get a loan for half of the amount. So we have a 50% loan to value. Typical structure for the bank loan is they would make a 25 or 30-year amortizing loan available, 10-year maturity, fixed rate for 5 years, and then on an every 5-year basis, that interest rate would adjust to fit what's going on within the local economy. So that tends to be the structure on the bank loan. The bank would have a first deed of trust on that property. The SBA, in my organization, would come in second position with a second promissory note. Our note is 20 years with a 20-year fixed rate. The rates get set on a monthly basis because we finance this through debenture bonds on the market. The loans that funded during March, that was 5.6% fixed for 20 years. So a wonderful low interest rate loan here. The banks tend to be doing decent interest rates as well. So on a blended basis, we have low interest costs and again, the low down payments. So the business keeps as much cash within the business to operate on a daily basis. Kinds of project costs that we can throw into this loan and finance over an extended period of time instead of just being out of pocket short term. And we've got triple pane windows, we've got radiant heat on the floor. I'm going to be saving on energy by moving into that space. If they can just document that there's apt to be a 10% or more energy savings to them, again, this qualifies. And this one actually will help fund a significantly higher loan amount. Renewable energy. If a business is tapping into technology that will help create energy on a regular basis that they can operate their business from, and perhaps they're generating enough energy that they're able to sell it on the power grid, this is going to work. So putting in solar panels, using wind energy program. So again, a few little things. Job creation is really important, but there are other areas that we're trying to support and encourage. And if you think of businesses that are that qualify for any of that, it's worth taking a look at this 504 loan.